So, continuing on the topic that I've been talking about this week, this is on the moon and sacred masculinity. I'm going to talk about a character today, an archetype. Coming from the Mahabharata, this is the Aryan history, and the character's name is Abhimanyu. If you don't know who Abhimanyu is, you should know who Abhimanyu is. He is the emanation of the moon in human form. Now, the Mahabharata is the story of the Aryan civilization. Aryan means the noble ones, like in the Four Noble Truths by the Buddha. Sanskrit is the Four Aryan Truths. So the noble ones were the civilized. And in ancient, before it was called India, the land was called Bharata. So the Mahabharata is the history of the great land. Now, the Aryans, these were the noble ones. And Abhimanyu, if we were to see him as the emanation of the moon, he's real fascinating. Because in the Great War of 18 days, the War of Kurukshetra, the same story that happened in ancient Sumerian mythology of the sun going to battle with the moon is the same thing that's happening in this battlefield. And Abhimanyu in ancient times is the son of Arjuna, who is the emanation of Indra, who wields the thunderbolt. He's the chief of the Devas. And Abhimanyu, he carries this energy of the moon of sacred masculinity. Only he knows the way to enter into the great formation called the Chakravyuha. This is a wheel formulated by the great commander Dronacharya, who sided with the Kauravas, the rivals of the Pandavas. And in this 18-day war, Abhimanyu can recall listening to Arjuna as he speaks with Subhadra. He remembers this talk as a child of Arjuna discussing how one can enter into the great wheel of the Chakravyuha. So on the 18-day war, Abhimanyu enters. He goes into the wheel, into the great wheel of time, and he makes the sacrifice. He starts laying out the army. He starts defeating the foes. And then there's a code of conduct in the battle. And the code of conduct is that two people cannot gang up on one person. But you have the great commanders called the Yadiratas. These are the commanders above commanders who wield the chariots. And they're all ganging up on the moon, or all ganging up on Abhimanyu. Karna, who's the sun god, is ganging up on Abhimanyu. Duryodhana, who is the commander of and the king of the Kauravas, he's ganging up on Abhimanyu, shooting arrows. Their teacher, Dronacharya, he's ganging up on Abhimanyu. Shakuni, who's the wicked one who, with deceit, caused this whole war, he's ganging up on Abhimanyu. Everybody's ganging up on Abhimanyu, and they're breaking the rule of conduct of a noble fight where one-on-one is supposed to battle. Now it's a dozen versus one, and they're trying to slay Abhimanyu because he's going to town slaying everybody because he's found a way to enter into the great formation of the Chakravyuha. Now, the one who ends up slaying Abhimanyu is Karna. Karna is the sun god. And if you remember my discussion of the ancient Babylonian story of the Enuma Elish, when the sun god, he comes into the solar system, he enters into this family, and he goes to war with the moon. The same thing is occurring. Karna is going to battle. He's going to war with Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu with arrows in him, with swords stabbed in him, with his life breath almost extinguished. He breaks the wheel of the chariot and he is hurling it at everybody, Karna, and he's slaying as many people as he can. And Karna, seeing him, he brings Abhimanyu close. Secretly, Abhimanyu doesn't know, and Karna doesn't know, but Karna is really Abhimanyu's uncle and his family. But inside, Karna knows that he's gonna slay somebody who's dear, and Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna, who is Karna's main rival on this battlefield. And he extinguishes Abhimanyu, takes his life breath, plunges the sword into him. And this is the depiction of the moon sacrificing himself, going all out for the sake of his family. This is a depiction of the moon in sacred masculinity, of the willingness to stand, the willingness to sacrifice oneself for the betterment of the whole. And when he's Abhimanyu's dead, everyone is just distraught. Arjuna is distraught, his father, and he wants to kill everybody too. He says, if I do not kill the ones who slayed my son tomorrow, I will immolate myself in the fire. And Abhimanyu represents this laying down of one's life, this quality of the moon that was not weak, but had the strength and valor and the knowledge and wisdom to go into the great wheel of difficulty and sorrow, the great karmic wheel. And he knew it. He knew that if he entered, he knew how to enter from Arjuna, his father. But he didn't know how to exit. He didn't know how to leave the wheel. He didn't have that knowledge. So this is the sacrifice that he didn't know, but he went into it anyway. Now, I'm going to show you a clip of one of the modern versions of this story. And you'll get to see a real depiction of Karna as he slays Abhimanyu in this battle. And where Karna is the incarnation of the sun, and Abhimanyu is the incarnation of the moon. And now the moon, on his last breath, he is going all out in sacrifice, a heroic quality of the man, the masculine quality that is willing to take ownership of his life and lay it down for his loved ones. Respect. So observe. This is Karna. He's ready to slay the moon.
अब समय हो गया है पुत्र.
They're really family.
अब तुम शांत होकर स्वर्ग की ओर प्रस्थान करो.
But he will not look like a fool in front of the king.
विश्व के सर्वश्रेष्ठ योद्धा का सम्मान न मुझे प्राप्त होगा न अर्जुन को.
He takes his life and everyone's destroyed.
वो सम्मान तुमने हमसे छीन लिया है पुत्र. मुझे तुम पर गर्व है.
So, in conclusion, this is another depiction of the moon being portrayed as a masculine principle in ancient India, among the Aryan culture, among the great text of the Mahabharata, the history of the Aryans. wanted to lay that down, that the farther we go back, we see more emphasis of the moon being portrayed as masculine. So we'll continue in further research.